Shalom, giving all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, Bahashim Ravakakwadash. Double honors to elder apostles, a great millstone who do rule well, that taught me this truth. Peace, love, and blessings also to you brothers on the highways and byways, giving all diligence, making the calling and election sure, and also blessings to the very few sisters that we got out here listening, learning, and believing. I'm that fellow laborer, Kanakla, coming at you once again, GMS Tampa Bay. We'll swoop through the spirit and power, Yahweh Bashim Yahushui's lessons, edifying and exhorting. And this will be an update or just, paying attention to these prophecies. Once again, watchmen here, always on their post, watching daily, okay? And here's an article here from RT. It says, what happens if Russia turns off the gas taps to Europe? Because as you know, after the so-called invasion of Ukraine, basically America has decided to isolate Russia from the global market by putting sanctions on them, and also is encouraging its EU allies to do so as well, to basically do no business with Russia, which that is going to be a great problem for the NATO or these European countries, as we know. And this is a lot of reading. I don't want to bore you here, so I'm gonna try to get straight to the point, chop this article up real fast. As you all know, well, you might not know, but what will happen after March 31st? All right, today is the 30th, I believe. But Russia says Europe will not get free gas if countries refuse to pay in rubles. That's a good point to know if you don't know. Russia is requiring that its gas be purchased in rubles, which is a Russian currency, okay? Which is a direct threat to the U.S. dollar, because, they're no longer making use of the dollar, all right? It says we're not going to supply gas for free. This is clear, Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said on Tuesday when asked whether gas would be turned off for non-payers. Peskov replied, no payment, no gas. So, the tap's going to be cut off. It's not like, they're saying, well, if they don't pay us, we'll still keep your gas on. This is the real world here. You don't pay your lights or your water bill or whatever the case may be, they come through, they cut it off. So likewise, the EU, they're going to have to pay in rubles to receive Russian gas. So let's move on. It says, how much does Europe depend on Russian gas? It's a good point. It says Europe depends heavily on Russian gas for heating the power generation. Russian gas accounts for 40% of Europe's total consumption. Okay. The EU's gas imports from Russia this year stood between 200 million and 800 million a day. What happens in Europe without Russian gas? The European Commission has said it plans to cut EU dependency on Russian gas by 2/3, well before 2030. However, economists say it's not easy to replace 1,550 terawatt hours of Russian gas delivered to EU in 2001. So, to be this dependent on Russia, this is just not an overnight thing. Okay, just consider you're with a spouse, and you guys break up. Well, that takes time, all right, to disconnect. You might have shared accounts, okay, all your money, everything you do is dependent on one another. All right, that's why it's a business. That's why business deal. They sometimes use the metaphor as they're in bed with this country, meaning they're doing business together. It's a relationship. So that takes time and weeks, to the point where you break up with that person or you have that divorce, but you're still communicating. You might have kids together. You're still co-parenting. It takes some time till you're completely separated. As a kid, I seen a divorce. One sleep on a couch, one sleeping up in a room, because it's the time of that separation. It takes time because all your assets and all your resources are merged together. All right, so it's just not going to be an overnight thing. Okay, and with that being said, if you that dependent on that person, okay, is gonna, once again, comparing to relationships, going to find another. It's going to be hard to find another to fill such a big void. All right, so this is really going to hurt them. That's why this won't be an overnight thing. Since Europe cannot replace the supply shortfall quickly, it will need it to curb demand. Meanwhile, increasing liquefied natural gas, yada yada, this would be a major hit to the European economy, which is already suffering from sky-high energy prices. A prolonged halt in in supply of Russian gas would come at a cost for the EU and might even result in some countries that are more exposed to Russian gas fluctuations, like Italy and Germany, having to take emergency measures. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz has warned that a ban on Russian energy imports would trigger an economic recession across Europe. So, man, this is heavy, okay? And Russia is putting its cards on the table. Like, you got to make a choice. You got to make a decision. And that's when things move fast. All right? You pretty sure you've been put in situations like that to where, hey, is yay or nay? You with it or you're not? You know, as far as choosing sides, you got to be on one side or the other. Okay? So it says, what are the wider implications? You know, higher gas prices, so on and so forth. Will oil prices be affected? Russian supplies around 4 million barrels of oil per day to European Union. Unlike gas, the supply of which to a greater extent is still regulated by long-term contracts, the price of oil is volatile and determined by supply and demand. If Europe still decides to abandon Russian oil, then crude prices could soar $200 a barrel. So they need Russia, man. Or even higher, analysts warn. Will Russia sell other commodities in rubles? All right, that's not important to the point I'm trying to get at right now. All right. But let's close out on this one, on this article. It says, who will blink first? This is the point. All right. Down to the nitty gritty, as they say. Who will blink first as the payment deadline approaches? Okay. Today is the 31st. Okay. This is the deadline today. So far, the EU G7 nations have rejected Russia's demand to switch their payments for gas to rubles. So they rejected it. We're not going to pay you in rubles. Well, hey, starting tomorrow, the tap is going to be cut off. So 40%, where are you going? How quickly are you going to be able to replace 40%? Millions, hundreds of millions of barrels of oil just that fast. It's going to hurt, man. The EU going to go into recession, okay? If this happens, if they're cut off from Russia, okay, you're going to see inflation. It's going to get real bad over in the EU, man, the European countries. So we'll see what they're going to do. They might go through it and get hit, man, and take a big hit. You know, either way is good for us. Prophecy, okay, is either it's gonna mess them up economically if they cut Russia off, or secondly, it's gonna create that great division, that great separation between America and its allies. Okay, either way. So it's a win-win for us. Prophecy must be fulfilled. Russia said it will not provide free gas supplies, suggesting that it is ready to shut off the taps. If that happens, Moscow could lose 200 million to 800 million each day of the embargo. However, Russia could redirect some of its gas to Asia. Europe will likely face an economic crisis not seen since World War II. So things is about to get real, man. Okay, as soaring energy prices would send the region's economies into recession. So who will blink first? Place your bets. And this is going to be very, very interesting to watch unfold, man. So that lead me to my first precept. Salakia for being so long-winded with that article. But it says, he that giveth his mind to the law of the Most High, which is ultimately this whole word, and is occupied in the meditation thereof. So you're supposed to be meditating on these scriptures daily. It's not a day that should go by that you're not meditating on these scriptures, man. Because the prophecies are taking place. We're at the end. All right. It says, we'll seek out the wisdom of all the ancient and be occupied in prophecies. And where does this line up in prophecies? Off rip. Let me get it real fast. See if I can pull it up. I know it's in a couple places. It says in Matthew's 12:25, which is a parable, Yahushua spoke. It says, and Yahushua knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. Okay, and if Satan casts out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand? Okay, so this is division among the brotherhood of Esau, Edom, to being the so-called Europeans today. Okay, they're going by the name of Europeans. Okay, they're just, because this is going to put a big wedge, and ultimately what it's going to lead to is Revelation 17. We make this real quick, get straight to the point. But the point is, just continue to watch this. All right. It says, Revelation was started, 11. Revelation 17:11. And the beast that was and is not, all right, even he is the 8th and is of the 7 and goeth into perdition. Talking about America. It says, and the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as 1 hour with the beast. Okay. And the 10 horns, NATO, the EU, the original signatories of NATO. It's like the EU. You see the blue flag with the 13 stars. All right. Those are original. So those are the horns, all right, that's on the beast. It says, these have one mind and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. These shall make war with the Lamb, because ultimately these nations are going to come together and try to fight the Messiah when he returns, all right, because he's going to return in the midst of this destruction, in the midst of this chaos. It says, and the Lamb shall overcome them, but the Lord is going to defeat them, for he's the Lord of lords and King of kings. And they that are with him are called, chosen, and faithful. And he said unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. So America is the whore that sitteth upon the people, which is a representation of a power seat. If you ride upon a horse, you're controlling, all right, the horse. You're in a position of power. You're controlling the power, if you will. It says, in the 10 horns thou sawest upon the beast, EU, all right, these shall hate the whore. So they're going to hate America. And you can see that right now, because here it is. This whole Ukrainian situation, everyone knows who's the aggressor. America is basically dragging their allies into a war with Russia, okay? Because this whole Ukrainian thing, this thing has been brewing up for about 8 years. Okay, the expansion of NATO, the EU, and Russia just basically doesn't want them to pretty much expand close to their border. And America is the one that's pushing it. Okay, it's being the aggressor in the situation. It says, and 10 horns thou sawest upon the beast. So that NATO, the EU, they're gonna hate America and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. Because look, here it is now. If they don't stop doing deals with Russia, America's gonna have a problem with it. But look what it's gonna cause. It's gonna bring them basically into a recession, man. As it says, Europe would likely face an economic crisis not seen since World War II. So unprecedented financial troubles, man. Okay, So that's why you see they're going to hate the whore and shall make her desolate and naked and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. So we can see how this is leading to prophecy. Because they know, man, they know America's the issue. These EU countries, don't let them fool you on the media. And you know, that's all theatrics, man. You really think they want to lose, you know, this energy deal with Russia, to cut Russia off? No, but they're being forced to by America. It says, for the Most High hath put it in their hearts to fulfill his will and to agree and to give their kingdom unto the beast, and to the words of God shall be fulfilled. All right. So the Most High is going to put it in their hearts to shoot missiles upon this place. And you can see that seed being sown right now. Okay. What happens if Russia turns off the gas taps to Europe? So, you know, this is something to keep an eye on. All right. And things are happening fast. You know, tomorrow you want to check in and see, you know, what move did they make? Did Russia really cut the taps off, cut the fuel off? All right. We'll see. With that, Lord's willing, was edifying. Till next time, giving our praises to Yahweh Bashim Shai. Shalom.